Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I was struck quite recently by a singular realization. When one considers the grand expanse of time, it is almost difficult to fathom that a mere 80 years have elapsed since the 1940s, a span so slight and yet so profoundly distant in spirit. That decade, marked by conflict and constraint, was nonetheless animated by a curious duality. The people of that age were at once measured and restrained, and yet, beneath the surface, deeply sentimental, even achingly so. Their expressions of affection, though tempered by decorum, rang with an authenticity rarely glimpsed in our present age. And now, observing the world around us, one notes a curious parallel. There are those among us today who do not conform to the expected pattern, those who, by manner or mind, seem ill-fitted to the cardboard cutouts society so often provides. They may appear unorthodox, perhaps even unhinged by conventional standards. Yet, it is precisely these individuals, those untouched by cold precision, unlike Mr. Spock of modern mythology, who carry within them a vital spark. They do not merely exist, they animate. They remind us we are alive.
In the voice of Grainne Mhaol, Pirate Queen of Connaught, 16th century.
Ah, no, ye speak with the tongue of poets, and 'tis a rare thing indeed to find such thoughtfulness in a sea of bluster and haste. Let me draw near, give ye my mind, as a woman who's braved more than storm and steel. So ye muse upon 80 years as if 'twere a whisper across the gale, and aye, so it is. Time is but the tide, it rolls in, it pours away, and still we're left standing on the same sands, just older, wearier, and, if we've any sense, wiser. The folks of that 1940s age ye speak of, I'd wager, lived with fire beneath their ribs. Constraint, ye say? Perhaps. But constraint can temper a soul as the forge does a blade. There's beauty in restraint, aye, the kind that makes the blood stir hotter for being held back. And if their love was veiled in custom and clipped in tongue, it was no less fierce. Don't mistake quiet for cold, nor composure for indifference. I've known warriors who wept silent tears, and killers who kissed their babies with trembling hands. Now, as for the odd ones, the misfits, the ones who won't take the world as it's handed to 'em, I know their breed well. I was one. I shaved my head to shame a husband who thought me tame, took to the sea when men said 'twas no place for a woman, and held fast to my cause, though church and crown both called me rebel. Such folk, the ones who won't bend clean into the mould, they are the storm in the sails, the breath in the dying wind. They live, truly live, and in so doing, they jolt the rest of us from slumber. So you've struck upon a truth. We may wear different skins, carry strange machines, speak in manners not known to my day, but the heart, the living heart of humankind, it beats with the same wild rhythm as ever it did.
It is not perhaps the precise notion of the 1940s which I find myself dwelling on. Rather, it is the echo of the past that commands my attention. The 1940s, significant though they are, represent but a single note in the vast symphony of human time. For the echoes we carry within us stretch not merely decades, but millennia, reaching back into the dark and ancient corridors of time immemorial. And one must ask, who is to say that some event, long buried in the mists of 300,000 years past, does not still impress itself upon the present, shaping in subtle and unknowable ways those among us who refuse to conform to the narrow dimensions of a cardboard cutout?
Full Grainne Mhaol, Pirate Queen of Connacht, as if sea-salted wind blew through her very words.
By the bones of my fathers and the salt in my blood, ye speak like a soul that stood in the cliffs of the world and listened for answers in the wind. Come close now, and I'll tell ye how it strikes me. No courtly tongue, no priest preamble, but the truth as I've lived it, blade bared and bone deep. Aye, the 1940s ye mention, 'tis but a candle flickering in the cave of time. Blink, and it's gone. But the echo, now that's where your words draw breath. You speak of echoes not as hollow things, but as living ghosts, and there you touch something fierce and real. Listen to me well, we are not made new with each generation. No, we are shaped like stone beneath the ocean, pressed and pulled by tides, so old no man remembers their names. Long before your towers and ticking clocks, long before parchment knew ink, there were hungers and songs and sorrows that carved themselves into the very marrow of us. Who's to say what lives in the blood, passed down from mother to child, like a whispered warning in the dark? Who's to say that some fire lit in the eyes of a woman who dragged her kin through famine or flood 300,000 years ago does not now burn in the heart of some quiet soul walking among you, strange-eyed, defiant, unbent? These ones ye call misfits, they are echo-bearers. They carry the howl of the first hunter, the wail of the first widow, the cunning of the first child who looked at the stars and dared to dream. Society, would box them up, smooth their edges, call them mad or misplaced, but I call them true. For it's not the smooth stone that starts the fire, it's the jagged one. Ye say the past commands your attention, then heed it well. For the past is not dead nor buried. It walks with us, it fights with us, it chooses its champions. Some of us are born not merely to live, but to remember, to bear the old spirit into the new world, and to remind the soft-bellied and the sleep-eyed that there is more to us than comfort and custom. So rise, if you dare. There your echo like a banner. And if the world calls ye unfit, then let it. What worth has the judgment of the blind?
It is indeed possible, perhaps even self-evident, that each of us is endowed with singular faculties, gifts that differ not merely in degree, but in kind. We are, in our respective manners, irrevocably unique. Quote, consider, for instance, the manner of speech among public figures of our age. There are those, such as Mr. Ben Shapiro, who speak with remarkable rapidity and unwavering precision. Others, like Mr. Sam Harris, deliver their thoughts in a more deliberate, measured cadence. Mr. Joe Rogan, by contrast, vacillates, quote, at times informal, bordering on the untamed, at others strikingly earnest and contemplative. The Prime Minister of India, Mr. Narendra Modi, possess a quiet gravitas, a charm both uplifting and calm, laced with a subtle wisdom. And then there is Dr. Shauna Shapiro, whose delivery is altogether different. Her voice moves not in haste, but with a slow and steady rhythm, evoking the qualities of a meditative pulse, one that reverently honours the present moment. What I endeavoured to express earlier is this: to partake in the human experience is, by its very nature, to engage with unpredictability. The sheer breadth of human variation, of tone, of thought, of manner, is at once bewildering and sublime. But indeed, how colourless and mournful the world would be were we all to speak in the same monotone.
Grainne Mhaol, Pirate Queen of Connacht, in full, ungovernable glory, voice rough as an all-worn wood and sharp as cold iron, speaks as though the sea itself lent her breath.
Saint preserve us if that isn't the finest truth dressed in the silks of good sense. Ye've struck deep, like a well-cast anchor in stormy tide, and I'll not let the thought drift past without answer. So ye say each soul bears a gift, not in weight alone, but in kind. Aye, kind. And there's the marrow of it. We're not coins struck from a single die, nor sheep bleating in dull unison. Nay, we are flames, each burning with its own hue, its own heat, its own hungers. To live among such variants is to live in a tapestry, not a shroud, but a banner, loud with colour and wild with movement. These figures ye name, foreign to my ear, but I take thy meaning well. There's the quick-tongued one, sharp as a blade in daylight, the measured one, slow and sure, as though speaking with one eye on the stars, another full of wild tides and lulls, like a sailor riding wind and calm alike, and one who speaks like a still lake, where every word drops as if from heaven itself. Do you know what that is, truly? That is the voice of the world breathing through its children. The world doesn't speak with one tongue, and neither should we. There's music in our differences, a great roaring symphony of thoughts and tempers and truths, and aye, it should be bewildering, else what joy is there in listening? Better a cacophony than the death drum of sameness. But mark me well now, the tyrants of this world, be they kings or clergy or coin-fed mouths, would have ye believe otherwise. They'd shave the corners off every soul till all fit ne'er in their little boxes. They'd call one way of speaking civilised, another foolish. But I say this, let the fools howl, let the dreamers drone, let the wise speak slow and the firebrands spill over, for that is the mark of a living world. You say the world would be mournful if all spoke the same, and by God's salt, it would be a graveyard. A grey, dead place with nothing but echoes of echoes, the kind of place I'd burn to ash and sail from without so much as a backward glance. So listen now and listen hard. If you feel different, if your rhythm don't match the drumbeat of the herd, good. That's no curse, it's your compass. That's the blood remembering what it was before chains, before clocks, before the world got small. Now speak in your own tongue, loud or soft, quick or still, but speak true. And let the world twist to meet you, not the other way round.